You can see it.
Okay, journalism, intermediate, 3 images. Lynette Lyon, exotic animal trainer from Lion Ranch in Petaluma, encourages a young boy to touch a 4-year-old alligator outside Molesbury's Market, Santa Rosa, California, June 2019.
Right, great. This is a great image, a great example of journalism as well. I think some of the strengths of this image, it's not an earth-shattering event. It's not a major type of thing, but it is a fun thing going on. And what I really like is that we got these wonderful faces and the interaction between the woman holding the alligator, the child, and the adult, the father there. It's just wonderful. So you really gain a connection to it, how the people are engaging in this activity, and that's something that really adds strength to any sort of journalism issue. The rest of the image is okay. I don't know if those people in the background add anything to it, but they're there and just says that there's other people around as well. But generally, this has just a lot of good feeling to it, a lot of nice interaction between the elements, the people, and they're well shown. So I think all that adds to the strength of this image. Thank you.
Marchers reflected in the windows of the State Building on D Street. The January 21st, 2021 Women's March brought a crowd of more than 5,000, one of the largest ever in Santa Rosa, California.
Okay, so whoops.
Sorry.
That's right.
There.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff here. Pictorially, it's a great image besides a journalistic image. From a journalistic point of view, it depicts the event. You're doing a nice job of showing me the different people, the activity going on. The fact that it's rainy and so we get some muted colors versus some bright splotches adds to the whole look of the whole thing. And the fact that you took this image of this crowd as reflected in windows gives a whole nother version, level to it as well, as you got the level of the reflection, you got the stuff in front of it, and that's all sort of fun stuff. So not only are you showing me, you're documenting this event, but you're showing it to me in a sort of an artistic way. And I think both are strong parts here. I don't know if I would have changed anything here. I think you did a wonderful job of showing this event in a fairly unusual way, and kudos for that. Thank you.
Wildfire response, 1 of 3. Smoke plumes prompted a 911 call at 1:00 p.m. on May 26, 2021 to report a fire along Mark West Springs Road on the northeast edge of Santa Rosa. CAL FIRE swiftly deployed this UH-11H Super Huey helicopter from Sonoma County Airport for air surveillance and command operations. 2 Grumman S2T air tankers each dropped 1,200 gallons of fire retardant within 25 minutes after the 911 call, limiting the fire to 2.2 acres and saving nearby homes.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Here. So we got to, not only is this journalistic capture here, but it's a sequence. So I've got to ask the question: is the whole story better told as a sequence than it is with any of the individual shots? And as the first shot here, we're just documenting that there's smoke there, and your title is explaining what, when, and where this is. Next. We got a intricate part of the apparatus responding to it, and that has some interest. And finally, then we have this action shot here. And to me, this is the strongest image of all 3. And actually, this could have done just as well with just this one image, because you're showing the smoke, you're showing the location, you're showing some very unique action. You've caught it mid-action. So there's a lot to this image there, besides the fact that it was so nice of them to color that stuff bright red. It's always nice to have a splotch of red in your image. But, pictorially aside, this does describe a series of events around this fire and different ways they're approaching it. But to my mind, this is by far the strongest of the 3 images, and could in it of itself be a good journalistic one to show a lot of what's going on. But nice attempt, or a nice collection of images. Thank you.
Journalism advanced, 1 image. Life's a beach, 1 of 4. In the Southern California lifestyle, the beach is a multi-purpose destination. Walking, running, skating, volleyball, and just relaxing all have a different vibe at the shore. Basketball in a beach setting is exciting for players and spectators alike. Players can show off their skills to a diverse audience. If the beach itself isn't exciting enough for children, amusement parks on piers can add to the multi-activity aspect of beach life. The beach is for everyone to enjoy in their own way.
Okay, so here are a sequence of events that all centered around the beach and different activities that are going around there. I don't know if it's as strong as other collections might be. I don't know if the connectiveness between the different elements is that strong. Yes, they're all beach activities and things going on, but they're rather diverse between athletic events, unique events, people. Scenes here where there's not a lot of people playing on the beach versus just a whole series of things. It's just an interesting collage of different points of things happening around there, and in that way it sort of has a travel feel to it because it's more about the place than it is about any specific type of set of activities here. But it also works in the journalism as well, and it's fun to see there. I think this image itself is a very strong image. I love the orientation you give us. Let's go to the next one. An action shot of the basketball going on, just people playing. Next. We got the boardwalk here. This image isn't as strong because half of it has the boardwalk and half of it doesn't. So pictorially it's not as strong, but it does relay the issue in the final image. Now gives you something entirely different where you're seeing different people enjoying the beach in different ways. Thank you.
Journalism Masters, 5 images. In other news, a house fell out of the sky and killed the Wicked Witch of the East. Though the wreckage has been cleared, the powerfully magic ruby slippers await removal by Glinda the Good. Pride 2021.
Okay, so yeah, here the makers really show a bit of sense of humor to the whole idea here. One could argue that perhaps this isn't really true journalism because it's a staged event. It's staged for visual impact, possibly for photography. It isn't real and that type of thing. So it's not really a journalistic type of event. But you got a contrived situation that was created, and you're reporting it as though it was journalism, and so we'll enjoy that just for what it is and the thought that went into it. Thank you.
Climate Change Lightning Wildfire Complex 2020, Santa Cruz, California.
Okay, so here you're intending to show me the aftermath of some fires, but in fact you've done a very nice job of showing me these wonderful sort of plants there with the backlit to it, and then the bird in the center here. My attention is really drawn to that, and the background behind it is really secondary, and as such that really weakens any sort of journalistic quality this has. Yes, pictorial quality is not as important in journalism, but the story is, and in this case here, visually this story is more the fence, the bird, and the plants, and not as much the background, and that weakens this whole story from a journalistic point of view. Thank you. Next.
Child deals with the wind on the beach at Dunphy Park, Richardson Bay, Sausalito, California.
Yeah, fun. I mean, in a microcosm of day-to-day events, it is newsworthy, at least for these kids. And so I think it fits very nicely here. You've really done a nice job of capturing the expression on the kids and the excitement with their brother running around. You got thumbs up from the mom as well. And so we have interaction between the players. You see them in the unusual situation. You understand what's going on, and it's in a nice setting. So all of those in this microcosm of day-to-day life still has a little bit of journalistic quality to it. And in that way, I think you've done a very nice job here. Great. Thank you.
Not his first award ceremony. Argentinian professional Martín Tessara is first off the stage to avoid the traditional champagne shower. Ferrari Polo Exhibition, Trioni Field, Santa Rosa.
Fun. Again, so you're showing this event going on. So it's associated with a sporting event. You've got peak of action going on, capturing the champagne, spreading the winners up there, and having that guy run off the stage and the expression on his face there, I think, really adds a lot to it. So you got two guys going in one direction. You got everybody else enjoying the spraying there, and all in all, the feeling of this works out very nicely. The only thing I would say is I'd like to know a little bit about when. Remember, when, where, why, when might be more important things to include in the title. Just so we know when this happened, which is sort of important in journalism. But we can see what's happening, where it is, what the magnitude of the event is. All that's very effectively shown here. And you just got this peak of action shot that just shows some great expressions. So thank you.
Youth Rising, 1 of 4. June 10th, young people from around the state joined together in Juilliard Park to support a federal plan that would create hundreds of jobs to help slow and mend climate change. A group of 7 runners met enthusiastic supporters at the park to speak for a civilian climate conservation corps that Biden has proposed in his 8-year infrastructure plan. The youth there represented a diverse population. Many of them shared experiences of the fires they experienced, which had helped motivate them to this moment and action. After speeches, the well-organized group continued on their march. They marched 226 miles from Paradise to San Francisco, with others joining them on the last leg of their journey.
All right, so here I think you got a very good collection of images that as a whole really give me a feeling for this event. This is a great one to open it up with, all the different kids there, and the title of the organization. Next. We got the next image, please. Yeah, here, one of the events associated with this whole event going on. By the way, the photography is excellent. Very nicely done here. So here, not only do we catch the expression of the people with their t-shirts, we can see how they belong. And you're also giving us a good feeling for how the enthusiastic support of the spectators as well. Next. Good. Here you're emphasizing the youth, and although we don't see the face of the person here, the banner on her back there really describes everything, and that coupled with the others, I still think work very nicely. And finally, the last one. Yeah, again, you're showing another activity associated with this whole event. And here, again, we're seeing the faces. We're seeing people coming towards us. They're very clear. So all in all, a nice rendition of all the different things with a nice emphasis on the youth of the people, of the kids participating in that. And all in all, a very effective presentation. Thank you.
Monochrome basic, 3 images. Ruins of Holyrood Abbey, first built in 1128, Holyrood Palace, Edinburgh, Scotland.
All right, so a wonderful image of these ruins there and the different architecture we're seeing there. So obviously it's not new architecture. It's been around a while, and you're giving us a good sense of that. As a monochrome, I think this works out nice. There's some good dark tones, some light tones. For the most part, there's still little detail in the dark parts, and there's detail in the light parts. So your exposure's done nicely here. But the only thing that I find is disappointing is the sharpness of it. It's soft, and those arches are your main criteria. That's what you're showing off, and yet they aren't really sharp. They're a little bit on a softness, and I find that a little bit disappointing in this case. Aside from that, though, nice job. Thank you.
Bubbs Creek from the Forester Pass Trail.
Yeah, a wonderful landscape shot here. I think it works very effectively in monochrome. Very clear, so we have no trouble seeing the detail in the different areas. There's nothing really overblown here. One thing I will comment, though, is what's our real point of interest in this image? Or, okay, your title tells me that you're talking about this Forester Pass Trail, yet only half of that is involved with the land and half of it's involved with the sky. And so visually, visually, it's a little confusing what your emphasis is. Not only that, but the sky is there's so much going on with the sky with different tones and shapes and sharpnesses there. It competes, in my mind, with the land below it. And yet the land below it is the real meaning for here. So here I would definitely crop down a good half of that sky, I think. I think you could get rid of half that sky and still maintain the message you're trying to show in this image. As it is now, because half's the sky and half's the land, both are have some interest, but they compete with each other, and I'm just not quite sure what you really want me to see. Thank you. Next.
Light at the end of the tunnel, Tole Lake.
Yeah, now this is I'm really enjoying this image. Not only you have the darker parts on the outside with some vignetting and just naturally with the landscape what it did there. You give us a path leading to a bright parts there. Tonal qualities are excellent here. You can notice that the brightest parts are way in the distance, right in the area you want me to look at, and so you're using tone to direct my eye. It doesn't have to be tack sharp. There's a little bit of haziness as we get farther and farther the image, and again, that's effective in giving us a sense of distance. So here, definitely, you're leading me into this path with a place to go, and I'm just really enjoying it and just sort of feeling what it would be like to emerge from here into the next area to come into. Nice job. Thank you.
Monochrome intermediate, 6 images. Sadness on Rodeo Beach.
Yeah. Okay. There's a couple elements that, first seeing this, being there to capture it, kudos for that. That's half the game here. In this case here, the fact that the sky is nearly half the image, I think works because you have the very, very dark sand, the very, very light. So you have this light and dark, and then you have the somewhat tragic event in the middle. And because there's a starkness associated with lots of light and lots of dark there, it adds to the general feeling of this. So in this case, I would not crop any more of that sky. I think that has a place there, and it's doing a good job in trying to show us a little bit of the feeling. That starkness and the contrast between light and dark is effective in the story you're trying to tell here. One might consider maybe bringing a little bit more detail in the shadow of the body there. That's a maker's choice, but there is some dark area there we're sort of lost, although I don't think it's a real detriment tremendously to the image, but that's something you might play with. I believe the horizon line is straight as well. If not, it might be a little bit low on the left side, but those are small, trivial points. Nice job. Thank you.
Water clover.
All right. I love this shot. I love the clarity of it. I love how each of those petals, collection of 4 petals there, are unique. There's some wonderful empty space that allows the clover petals to emerge from that, so I have no trouble focusing on some of the things. It's very sharp, and so I'm enjoying looking at the detail associated with the water droplets and the splashes on the clovers. There's definitely no problem trying to focus in on the center one and then moving a little bit down to the left or a little bit up with the lighter areas so that your eye just comes, and then there's a leading line of the 4 clovers, 4 to 6, showing that diagonal that moves down to the lower right. Oh, that's really nicely done. Good cropping here. Good choice of empty space. I wouldn't change anything here. I really do enjoy this image. Thank you.
Wind included.
All right, great. Great title. The simplicity of the title matches the simplicity of the concept of this empty space, this wonderful area with the water, the little islands there, the cove. You have the different isthmuses of the lands coming out there. Then you go back into the background into the wooded area and the hill, and then that wonderful sky. In this case, I don't feel like the sky is competing with the rest of the image. There's definitely 3 major parts to the image, and I have no problem integrating that as a whole. And so I think it's very, very effective here. Nice job. I do see that there's a little bit of a halo on that peak. Notice around that edge how there's a really brightness on the very, very edge. Whether I'm sure that you didn't add that. And sometimes in those borders, you do get sort of a brightness that naturally occurs there, and it sort of distracts the viewer just a little bit. So I would work on that. But aside from that, I love what you're seeing this and how you captured this. Nice job. Thank you.
Sonoma morning.
Okay. Great. Good eye here. First, picking the point of view to really show this. I love the angle. I love that you managed to show both sides of the tower. The tower reaches right up, and yet there's a little bit of space on the top. That's very effective. Your choice of light or the light used is exceedingly effective. With the light on the balustrade, the different shadows you have there is all really effective and nice and sharp. Then you have that sky, which is just magnificent. And in this case here, some might argue that the sky is competing a little bit with the image. I don't find it that way myself, but that's other people may say differently. But in this case, that contrast between the sharpness of the building versus the sort of the not busyness, but the unique structure of the sky, I think works together in this image. I don't know if I would change anything. I like what you have here. My eye goes where you want it to. And the contrast between the sky and the structure, to my mind, is very effective. Thank you.
Southern white rhinoceros pair grazing on the Namibian savanna.
Okay. So a good portrait shot of a couple of grazing rhinos. And I think it works very nicely in monochrome. You have no problem seeing the animals and appreciating the texture on their hides. I think that's very effective. Yeah, we lose a little bit of detail in some of the grassland that's right in front of them, but that's not important. The fact that it's a little bit lighter on that part, but I think that you get a nice contrast between the woodland and the actual animals. And the differences in textures, I think, are very important. So here, I just think it's a nice monochrome image that really shows off these animals. I mean, it would have been nice if I didn't have some of the grass covering the eye of the animal on the left. And being in monochrome, you could get rid of some of that. So that's about the only thing. One thing I found was a little disappointing is not seeing that other eye, but a minor point. Thank you.
The Golden Gate Bridge disappears in the fog.
Yeah, great. This is again another mood shot and very nicely done. Yeah, you get the Golden Gate. We get enough detail in the landmass below it, supporting the bridge. The bridge is there, but yeah, it disappears into the fog. And then you have sort of textures in that fog going on. And those birds, nicely done, captured here. I do find that this image is a little bit unbalanced. It's really dark on one side, and there's light on the other side, but nothing else going on the left to balance what's going on the right. The birds are more toward wondering if you need quite as much on this image of the image on the left. If you crop it over, perhaps that may bring a little bit more balance to it. Or you could actually move those birds over a little bit and crop it even a bit more. Those are all things you can do in monochrome if you want. But aside from that slight balance issue, nicely done. And I really appreciate the mood that you've captured here. Thank you.
Monochrome advanced for images. Ornamental grass, squirrel's eye view.
Yeah. Okay. So a great image here. Good attempt at trying to capture the different tones in the grass and the lightness, how it brings out that. It's a good attempt at doing that. I can see where you're trying to go. Unfortunately, here, one of the challenges is monochrome is really getting your subject to stand out. And I will say, yeah, your subject, if the subject is the ground, so it's sort of in the mid to left hand portion or so, we see a nice contrast to the brightly lit grass versus the background, and there it's sort of separated out, but the rest of it all begins to blend in, and it's just, to my eye, it's a little bit more difficult to focus on the subject and really appreciate it. Here, I would really try to find some ways, either by cropping or by the rather strong vignetting, to bring out the light parts in the lower third, the left-hand third of the image. If I had a pointer, I could show you, but I don't. But because there, the contrast between the light and the dark brings your subject out. Towards the edge on the outside, the inverse isn't as effective, and it becomes a mishmash stuff, and that makes it a little bit more difficult to see. But this is one of our challenges with monochrome, getting that subject to really show nicely. Thank you.
Aspen Fantasy.
Okay, so this one could argue is in a similar vein, similar comments, but here the sharpness and the repetitive nature of the trees adds a little bit more structure to it. And so I tend to find in my eye that this is a little bit more pleasing and a little bit more simple to focus on the different trees from the forest as opposed to the last image. I think you got some wonderful tones here. The clarity is great. I don't seem to have a trouble picking out some of the main trunks and following the detail up there. But yes, there's a lot going on here, and there's a lot of busyness happening here. And so that's one of the things we need to be aware of as we try to put forward on this image. You know, do you need as much as you have? That's a creative choice. Can you get rid of some of the top? Maybe so. I'm not sure if it makes it better. It makes it different, but I'm not sure it makes it better. But I am enjoying this image, and I am enjoying that I can see the individual detail on many of the tree stump or tree limbs here. Thank you.
Under the Bridge, Lime Point Lighthouse and Fog Station, built 1883.
Okay, so here we're really, you know, after we look at the image a bit, we begin to focus in on that lighthouse in the middle there, and here you've used clarity as well as tonal qualities as a focusing agent. And so the brightest parts are in those two structures in the center. They're also the clearest, so that works nicely. And notice how, though, the background a little bit darker, definitely not as sharp. So we got a sense of depth, which aids in the separation of the subject, which is the lighthouse and the structures, from the background. Yet we still see those things in an environment. I wonder if you need quite as much on the top and quite as much on the side.
You there, Charlie?
Lost audio, right?
Yeah.
I think did we lose him completely? I think so. I don't see him.
Yeah, he isn't in speaker view anymore.
Oh, maybe
I don't see his thumbnail.
I don't either. We'll
He's
give him a
probably-
chance to sign
he's
back
probably
in.
gonna try to log back in.
Yeah.
Bill, do you have his cell number?
I do.
Yeah, I knew it. Another judge got kidnapped by aliens.
We knew it would happen.
It does happen.
There he is. He's back.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, there he is.
Yeah, I'm back here. Sorry for that. My computer totally froze, and I wasn't hearing anything from Bill, and I wasn't seeing any movement in any of the windows. So I apologize for that.
It happens.
Okay, so yeah, that's happening just recently. Normally it doesn't, but I hope that doesn't happen again. Thank you for your patience.
Okay, next. Birds of a feather, more or less.
Yeah, I'm loving this. I'm loving this subject. I'm loving the different contrasts between the birds, your angle, the composition is just nicely done, and that Slim Jim type of format, the panorama format, I think is very effective here. It's just a fun image. You got some good subject. The clarity on your subject is fine. You got some wonderful little leading lines and some varied background that set the subjects up very nicely. So all that, just a nice job here. I don't know if I would change anything. Good eye. Thank you.
Okay, we've covered 2 categories. Oh, no, sorry, one more. Sorry. Dune at sunrise.
All right. You know, in these images, balance is important. And I find that this image seems to be a little bit unbalanced. You have very, very bright stuff on the left, on the right, and very, very dark, which is almost a quarter of the entire image on the left. And yeah, shadow adds, and the sunlight adds some dramatic depth to it. But here the composition is, I got 3/4 that has stuff and good 1/4 of the image that doesn't have much at all. And so I'm not quite sure the solution here, possibly standing in a different place. You got some good attributes here. I love the shadows on the dunes. I love the bright ones in the background and your mountains back there. I think that's well done. That the bright contrast on the right is very effective. Perhaps just bringing out a little bit more detail in the dune on the foreground might fill in that detail and give it a little bit more balance. I like where you're going here. I understand it. It just, as I'm seeing here, I always get this feeling of being a little bit bottom and to the left heavy, and that doesn't fit as nicely in the way I'm looking at it. Something to think about. Thank you.
It's going to be a nice day.
Yeah, good image here. Not an easy image for the exposure. I mean, you're looking in, although there's a lot of haze there and fog, perhaps you're looking into the sun, and so good job of getting the right exposure on the pier and the people. Yes, they are nearly silhouetted, but they aren't completely, and I can see some detail and I know which direction they're looking in, so it adds some interest to the whole image. The detail and the how you cropped it, I think, is effective. I like those fishing lines going down into the water. I think it's very effective. I like the amount of space you left on the edge to give those lines someplace to go into. I think that's effective. Good eye in capturing the sun like you did, coming through that haziness. These are not easy things to do. And so you've done a lot of good, really interesting stuff here. So good job. Thank you. Next.
Do you wonder about the pets at homeless encampments?
Yeah, this is fun. You know, I don't know what I would make of this image without the title, because what's the most prominent feature in this image? It's the chain link fence. What's exciting about the chain link fence? Well, your title indicates it's a homeless encampment, so we might envision that around the encampment there may be a chain link fence. And then we have these wonderful images of the 2 dogs behind some sort of windbreak there, and that adds a lot of interest besides. So all in all, it does fit together. I think you know the dogs are as sharp or as defined as they need to be here. It's not about the dogs, it's about the dogs and where they are. And in this case, you show that very nicely here. You know, there are a lot of different things you might do. I might be tempted to maybe darken the grass on the bottom because it's nearly as bright as everything else. And I really want my eye to go up a little bit. But aside from that minor point, nice job. Thank you.
Alone.
Yeah, I mean, the title says it all. And here you got wonderful use of empty space. You know, yeah, in this case, about 1/3 of this image is nothing but empty sky, but that sets the tone. that's appropriate for that title. Your title sets our expectation, and the image does everything to fulfill it. Nice, wonderful layered background, or layered foreground, midground, and then the background. I think that's very effective. The different tonals there, it's as sharp as it needs to be. That empty space again with the in the sky with just a little bit of clouds or detail up there gives me a sense of expansiveness. So it just reinforces the idea of that buoy among everything else. So good title, nice image. I don't know if I would suggest any changes here. I think you really do sell your point nicely. Thank you.
Looking up.
All right, a wonderful architectural picture here. There's some really bright contrasts here, but I think you effectively use them. You know, that bright edge of the building, that's you know, the building itself is very, very small, but that bright part there just leads our eyes right up along the edge of the buildings. And I think that's very effective. You got some nice, good contrast in the building on the left. And then there's the building on the right that has the side facing the sun versus the side don't. And the different architecture we see there and the tonal qualities there, again, all work out nicely. And then you have the sky, which contrasts very nicely. You have the nebulous, wonderful clouds in the sky versus the sharp angular nature of the buildings. And I find that contrast also to be very effective and pleasing. So nice way of seeing it. I like your choice of where you were when you took the image. And I like the crop you employed here. Nice composition. Thank you.
Young Samburu girls, remote northern Kenya village.
Okay, to me, this is just an exquisite shot. You can't help but look at that girl and the bright teeth and the eyes and the light on the face, and just smile. And that subject screams right out at you. And then you have the wonderful neck dress around her neck, the interesting detail there. And then you got a nice fall off in sharpness. So your depth of field is excellent. And yeah, we see windows, we see eyes, we see people in the background, but the fact that you let them blur out to become soft and leave the girl in the foreground so sharp is a good use of both tone qualities and sharpness to direct our area and our eye and direct our focus. And the fact that she's sharp and yet we still see detail in the background really gives us a feeling of the environment she's in. Just an exquisite job here. I only wish my images could be as good. Thank you.
Family.
Yeah, so here, you know, when I look at this, I can't help but think of still life. And that's because the side lighting and the gentle fall off of light and the shadowing, especially on the adult there with on the neck and on the face there, and the fall off of light and the nice termination line there is just exquisite. Yet it's nothing really bright. Yeah, there's a little bit on the neck that is blown out part there, but that doesn't bother me at all. And I just am enjoying the fall off of light across the face and seeing the detail on the back side. The feathers across the whole body work out nicely, and yet both eyes, both eyes of the chicks are very sharp. The lighting's excellent there. And then you have your natural vignetting of the darkness in the background just really brings my focus here. Again, this is, I think it's just one of the better shots of the evening, and I'm really enjoying that. So no suggestions to make it better. You've done a really nice job here. Thank you.
Life reaches out from dead stump.
Yeah. Okay. So I look at this and I really enjoy it in many aspects. I love the fact that we can really see the radiating branches from the middle, and you've done a nice job of showing separating those branches from the background. Very busy background, but I think they blur out a little bit, become soft, and that's effective. So I'm really focusing on the branches. The stump's a little difficult to see. It's lost in the gamish of everything. But the ferns and the base being bright, and then the darker base, I think is effective in pulling us back in here again. Tough subject, tough environment to try to do a monochrome because you don't have color tones to help separate your subject. And so I really want to enjoy this, but I am having just a little difficulty seeing the stump and getting a really good feeling of it because of the business around. A very challenging image to try to capture here. Thank you.
Weaver.
All right, again, sort of a still life. At least they have that nice directionality light coming from the left and falling off towards the right, and we can see that fall off nicely on some of the the blooms that we see where the weaver is nestled in. I love the fact that it's sort of dark on the edges and moves up towards there, so that helps exasperate some of the wonderful flow we get from those blooms. And then we're of course rewarded with all that flow to the nice detail of the web on the top, which is nicely highlighted. So all those combination of things works real nicely here. You know, I may have been tempted to darken maybe that top bloom on the top right. I don't think we need that quite as much as it is. And I may have been tempted on my own, if this were mine, to add a little bit more contrast on the leaf that comes out on the left. But that's maybe just a personal thing. So thank you. Nicely done.
Okay, now we come to a break. We've had journalism and monochrome. Let's take a 10-minute break, and then we go to pictorial and travel.
Okay. Is my speed okay?
Yes.
Bill?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
Perfect. Right on.
Yeah, somebody wants to ask me a question while I'm here. I'm not going anywhere.
Everybody can unmute themselves if they wish.
Charlie, I have a question.
Yes.
About 6 or 8 images ago, you had a bunch of trees, black and white. It was a mono, and it looked like there were cobwebs in them. Could you look at that again?
Yeah, that was the aspen. That was that grove of aspen trees
Right.
there, and it looked like there may have been some sort of processing done on that image. It may, you know, there, you know, it's possible that there was some sort of processing that maybe emphasized that but in this case here, there is a lot of structure there, and there's a lot of detail that we can see, and so that's interesting. But there's so much of it there; it's hard to focus on any one thing.
Where's your sister?
Thank you.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's my impression with here. This is a tough subject. It's hard to get really good images, especially in monochrome, where there's so much going on. And that's a real challenge here. But I think one of the benefits of this one, besides, is the sharpness across the whole image helps focus us to the lines caused by the aspen branches. And yeah, and there does seem to be some definite triangular structure among those leaves as well. For those who aren't as
Charlie's here. Everyone's here. Hey, pictorial basic, 4 images. Celebrating the light in life with the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, presenting the project Nunway fashion show and fundraiser.
Okay, so it's a lot of fun stuff here. We got a wonderful pictorial shot of this person here in all the regalia, one way or another, all the different makeup off there looking in the corner there. So a lot of fun stuff here, a lot of interesting colors. I think you're there's a definite yellow tint to that, and maybe that was intended, maybe that isn't. That's something you can deal with. I also find that the eyes, though, are a little bit soft. Whenever you have portrait images or you're showing that, the very first thing we're going to look at is not the beard. We're going to look at the eyes. That's how we are. That's how we are as humans. We always look at that. And in this case, they're a little bit soft. So I would strive a little bit more to get those, minimally, get those sharp with in images like this. So thank you.
The beauty of interdependence, Anna Swallowtail.
Yeah, gorgeous shot of this butterfly, a magnificent detail. That and the detail of the flower that it's on top of, especially in the middle, I think is very nicely done as well. So good job there. Good capture, nice depth of field. I like everything you've got here. I do find that the butterfly is a little bit centered. I don't know if you need as much of the image on the right. Yes, I can understand showing a little of the flower to show that there's other flowers there in the environment, but I would have actually, if this is cropped in, I would try to move the crop out a little bit on the left to maybe expand, bring in the rest of that flower, and crop in from the right a little bit to get the image a little bit more focused and a little bit more space on the left. If you can do that, that would be something I would definitely give a try. Thank you.
Taking a break.
Yeah, nice job here. I love the use of light, and look where's the brightest light in this image? It was right where those boats are, and that's exactly where eye wants to go. So we have no problem really going right to that focus point there. And then you have the wonderful reflections of the boats in the water. I think that's nice there. And you have this walkway, and there's a bright line through the walkway. I think that can be effective. It's a nice framing element. In this case here, I would crop in from all edges and see if I can maybe make that walkway very close to the bottom of the image. So I'd crop in from the top and then come in a little bit from both sides and on the top a little bit. I think your subject will become even more pronounced than what you have here. And then I would probably try to bring down a little bit of the intensity of the brightest parts there of the image to get a little bit more contrast, because you definitely have some blown out parts there. But aside from those points, nice job. Thank you.
Strange landforms carved from Triassic sediments. Valle de la Luna, Isquigualasto, Argentina.
Yeah, Valley of the Moon, Valle de Luna. And it really does, in what you give it, is have sort of a lunar landscape type of feel to it. Both the lack of color and the starkness of the landscape itself. And then, of course, you threw in the Milky Way and behind it besides. Whether or not you captured the actual Milky Way there or it was added afterwards, I think is irrelevant. The image you give has that sort of celestial feel to it. And so I think you've done a nice job here. Yeah, I would have added a little bit more contrast throughout to see if I can't bring out a little bit more detail, a little bit more starkness to some of the gray areas there. That may be something worth trying and see if that may actually match, bring up a little bit. Why I mention that is you have the very starkness and the sharpness of the Milky Way, but the landscape isn't as sharp. So if you brought up that contrast just a little bit, maybe sharpen the landscape, I think you'll get a better texture type of balance throughout the whole image. Thank you.
Pictorial intermediate, 7 images. Still life with berries.
All right, great still life. I love still lifes. They're hard. They're complex. There's a challenge, and one of the hallmarks of a good still life is the directional light. For an example, look at parts of those berries, how part of the berries are lighter than the others, and I think that's very effective here. I like your props here. I like the composition where you chose. I think that works out. Overall, though, I find the image just a little dark. I would bring out a little bit more detail in the dark areas around the bowl where the berries are, the bluish cloth, and the glass that has the strawberries. I think if we bring those areas out there, give me a little bit more detail, that might add a little bit here. Also, I don't know if you need quite as much of the from the top. I think you can crop down quite a bit and get more emphasis on the different elements within the still life. Giving me so much space on the top there, to my mind, pulls the emphasis away from the different elements that make up the still life. Thank you.
Sunrise at Sossusvlei, Namibia.
Yes, gorgeous. Isn't this a gorgeous shot? Look at the color. Look at the detail. Look at that termination line on that one hill there. You've got a wonderful foreground, midground, and background, and the The clouds are great too. Really good rendition. It's sunrise. We have that golden orange type of coloration throughout the whole landscape, and I think that's done. Again, you have an awful lot of sky here. And I feel that probably the landscape and how the sun hits the landscape is and on some of the clouds is your primary point. And so I don't think you need anywhere near as much sky as you have there. You could crop down almost half of that sky and still have a very, very effective image there. I don't think you really need all those upper clouds in the upper right. Also, I'm noticing that there's a lot of different lens spots. I counted at least 20 different spots there all throughout the sky on the left and up there. And you really need to clean those up there. It's an easy thing to do even in Lightroom or Photoshop, but those are things that we need to clean up in our post-processing. Thank you.
Nostalgia.
Okay, this is a fun image, you know. It's funny, as I looked at this image, you know, one of the very first things I saw was I saw the grittiness around the trees in the brightest part, which is straight ahead above the hills. And, you know, it bothered me until I saw that title, Nostalgic. You're thinking back to the past. This is aged. And so that little bit of grittiness that we see in there, I think is appropriate for the image. And so once I got past that, I began to really enjoy the path that led me down into the area there, brings me into the open area. You have some wonderful trees that are framing the element in silhouette. I think it's very effective. And then you give me a good midground and background behind that. So the, you know, a combination of things plus a little bit of edginess, graininess, grittiness that you have in there really goes a long way to help support your title and your feeling of being something from the past, looking back into this a nostalgic type of reminiscence. Thank you.
Canada geese are really noisy.
And here he is, letting you know exactly what he feels. Yes, they are very effusive in how they communicate, and you captured a nice one here. What I think is sort of fascinating is how the tonal qualities of the goose is nearly identical to the rock it's standing on and the rock next to it. So that's sort of interesting. Do you need that entire rock in this image? I don't know if you do. If you cropped over and got rid of half of it, I think your story would still be very effectively told without adding that big rock there that happens to be the brightest part of the image. Your title tells me the Canada goose is the main subject. That's where the action's happening. Yet we have that big rock that's competing with the goose for my attention. And I don't know if we really need it there. So something to think about. Again, you know, I realize this is in the basic division, but think about your intent, and everything else you do is subservient to your intent and your vision of the image. Thank you.
Sunflowers at dusk.
Yeah, I really like this image. You know, your sunflowers are just brightly there. They're nicely defined. There isn't a lot of massive amount of overlap between the different sunflowers. So there's many blooms that are very unique or distinct. I think that's very nice. You have a wonderful sharp foreground. You're building your flowers in the midground, and then that background being soft, I think is very effective. The only question I'll ask you is, do you need all this image? If you crop over from the right and get rid of a lot of those blooms that are soft and not as distinct, would that hurt the image? Because they're soft, your depth of field doesn't capture the detail there. The clarity and the contribution of those blooms are lessened quite a bit. So if you crop it over to maybe just to the you crop it over to just a little bit of the left of that one big bloom that's sort of very soft. I wonder, yeah, right, even to the right a little bit. Right about there. Yeah. If you did that, would that be as effective in telling your story? Something to think about. Cropping is both the easiest and the hardest thing to do in photography. It's easy to do, but it's so hard to give up our pixels that often we get resistant to that. So thank you.
Lavender embrace.
Yeah, great. Lots of fun stuff here. You know, The lavender plant's wonderful. The angle's wonderful. The sharpness of the bumblebee on that, the composition just all works nicely in your favor. We can see enough detail to really enjoy that, the bee there. I don't mind the fact that the whole plant's not sharp. Definite, the plane of focus is where the bee is. And so things in front of that is a little bit on the soft side. Things in the back are soft side. But in this case, that's okay, because the subject is the bee and its interaction with the flower, and that part's very, very sharp. And the rest of it is just putting a setting and giving me a feeling of it. Your background is wonderful in this case. I get a feeling there's other blooms back there, but nothing there to compete with the main subject. Nice job here. I don't know if I would have changed an awful lot here. I think your vignetting and the different types of things you've done with this image are all very effective. Thank you.
Miner's lettuce. Legend has it gold rush miners ate this green to prevent scurvy.
Yeah. As a Boy Scout, we used to get trained that you could eat this stuff as well. So very simple image here, but very nicely done. You have the three main areas there, one being a little bit softer than the other two, but they're very, very distinct as being your main subject. The rest of it is all background and gives you context for what the image is. And I think it's all very effective. Your depth of field is nice. I don't mind seeing those brighter green things in the background because they're blurred and because I have sharper images up front to look at. I have no problem with focusing on things. And to me, the rest of it isn't distracting, but more is pleasing as a setting. Interesting balance we always have to strike in that regard. I don't know if I would change much here. You have some very natural vignetting going on. Some people might actually darken some of those the blooms on the corners there a little bit, but that's something that, give that a try and see. You may find that by darkening this slightly, your main subjects will come out even a bit more. But as I see this here, it's still not distracting. So thank you.
Pictorial advanced for images. Exaltation atop the ancient art corkscrew spire, Fisher Towers, Moab.
Yeah. I've actually been there and seen those towers and seen the people going up there. It's amazing. No way I'd be trying to do that. But yeah, you get guys up there and they're pumped by the time you're there. And you're sort of showing that to us here. So the time of day was really sort of bright. So here we got, some of the rock is a little bit blown out. It's a little overexposed here. And it's a tough time of day to take this, but that's when the climbers are. Here, I would really work a little bit with maybe some micro contrast, a little bit of darkening, something to see if I can't tone down the brightness of that rock. I think the sky is fine, and you got some interesting detail, that really highlights the whole thing. I think that's very, very effective, and your composition and where you put him there. I mean, he's in a pinnacle position, and it's a pinnacle feeling he has of being there. So I think that all is very effective. Lots of good stuff there. I also think it is effective to have that one other person there in the yellow. So you can tell that he wasn't alone. He's got someone to help him with his safety ropes and such, which is essential for these climbers. But a nice story. Thank you.
Morning meditation.
I look at this and I just marvel at this shot. I love this one. Lots of neat things. It's got sort of a muted effect to it, except for the main subject that's bright red. But to have that person sitting on that reddish slant of ground, I think is very effective. And then the trees around it, the greenery, the light coming through and highlighting parts of some of those plants, I think is so effective. And you got that light that's highlighting the person there as well. Nice. You also have a little bit of kayak or boat at the bottom there. Nice stuff here. But there's no doubt that where your subject is and how you've captured the light to bring that out, I think is a very, very effective shot here. I would not hazard any sort of suggestions for improvement because I think it's a really nice image as it is. Thank you.
Watercolors.
Yeah, not every image has to be sharp. And here you've used a longer exposure to get have that motion blur in there. And I think that's very effective. I just find this to be really fun image here. Now, you know, nothing's absolutely sharp, but everything, we understand exactly what it is we're looking at. We have no trouble identifying the waves and the break of the waves and the different water behind it and the beach in front of it. We have no problem identifying that. So it isn't an abstract. We know what it is, but we get that feeling of movement, of a flow going on here. And to that aspect, then it adds a whole nother feeling to this. And so I think that's real effective. Because we're getting, this is more of a mood shot and you're giving a sense of motion, that some of the parts that are a little bit brighter than others, I don't think deter from this image at all. I don't mind that bright part in the surf that's up on the upper portion of that, because you have lots of interesting flow that leads me right into it. Just a great choice of shutter speed, a great way of giving us this view in an unusual way, but effective. Thank you.
Life under a rock.
Fun stuff. We got the, you know, we got a lot of creatures under that rock, between little barnacles or limpets or whatever they're called, little shell things there, and then you have your starfish there with all the little feet on it. I just think it's a lot of fun. You know, the color is great, your detail is great. You're showing us how the animal is connected to the rock there. So, and not only that, but one of the arms are sort of bent backwards. It gives us more of a view. A lot of good stuff there. And so I think you've been very effective at showing that. You know, I think the edges are fine. I like your composition. It's just a very effective story here. Thank you.
Pictorial Masters, 7 images. Stella.
Okay, so fun. You know, peak of action, they call it. You know, you've captured that in the animal, but you've also given us a feeling for, you know, the uniqueness of that animal, a zebra with all the different striations in that. You know, we have no trouble focusing on the mouth and on the snout and the area that's the sharpest. We get interesting view of the ears, the back of the ears, I think, or the front of the ears, I think is fun too. I'm also appreciating how the zebra behind it is not as sharp. It's a little bit softer. So that gives us a feeling of depth, which really makes our subject come out again. All this is just good stuff. Too bad he hasn't seen a dentist in a while, but aside from that, great image. Thank you.
Battery.
This one confuses me. To me, a title sets an expectation as to what the image will show. And I don't get any connection between your title and what the image is. And what happens is when you have a disconnect, then your viewer starts running around the image trying to figure out what the heck is this a battery of or whatever. And I stopped paying attention to the neat parts of the image. And to my mind, that's what's happening here. We have an interesting sort of, I guess it's a sort of a rotten door of some sort with some interesting contrast light behind it. A lot of interesting color and interesting detail in the image there, but it just sort of loses its effectiveness because I'm confused. I don't know what it is you're trying to show me here because your title and the image don't match up. And so I just left searching a bit. Thank you.
Purple haze.
All right, so here, yeah, purple haze. You got a VW, sort of interesting. You don't see that very often, but there's that purple thing. So you just saw this interesting shell of the VW, and the purpleness came forward, and you gave it to me here. And I think there's a lot of simplicity there. You know, there's not a lot of messing around, a lot of clutter, and I think in this case that's very effective. It brings out the contours of the VW and the detail within the structure very nicely. So good job. Just a fun one to look at. In this case here, I would have been tempted myself to maybe darken that concrete just a little bit. It is awfully bright, and I wouldn't darken it so much that I lose my shadow, but I would darken it a little bit to see if that might pull my interest up just a bit. Something to try. You may try it and decide it isn't worth it, but something I would give a definite try with. Thank you.
Musical chairs.
Yeah. Wonderful capture of these kids, and I love the angle. That top looking down is a very unique point of view. Yet we still can just feel the play in the kids. The hair flying, the feet all in different directions, the hands every different way. I love the fact that the older child looking back to see he's going to get caught or not. Just all sorts of fun stuff going on around that tree. But then there's a couple of other chairs there as well. And so you got 2 sets of 3 in this case. And, that's really, it happens to work. You got 3 chairs, you got 3 kids. The kids are all around one of them, but you have these 2 there. And then that wonderful flooring, which is a geometric shapes, is a nice template there. Just good eye for seeing this. Congratulations for seeing it. And I have no suggestions to make it better because I see this as just being a wonderful image. Thank you.
I have this awesome built-in down pillow anytime I want to take a nap.
Yeah, fun stuff. Good sense of humor there. Catching the I guess it's probably a flamingo. It was nestled in there. It's great, but you get the eye, and all that works out very nicely. Very simple in terms of the background with all that black background. I think that's effectively there. It's just a fun thing. Is this a earth-breaking shot? No, but is he as sharp as he might be? Not as sharp, but he's sharp enough because the most important part is the eye, and the eye is very sharp. So all in all, though, just a fun way of looking how to interpret what's going on. Thank you.
A boy and his toys.
Yes, boy and his toys. They say that a lot about photographers, the person and their toys as well. But I hear you just captured the spirit of his imagination and playing. He's 100% boy, and with the barefoot and then the clothes he's wearing. But then he's got all his toys there, and he's just focused on that little bit of smile on his face, that gleam in his eye. It just really gives me a feeling that he's just enjoying that. He's into what he's doing, and you really capture the story in telling in what you've shown here. And so I think the whole thing is just very effective in giving me the feeling. And so I just really enjoyed this image. Thank you.
Sunrise at the entrance to Wilmington Harbor, North Carolina.
Yeah. Now this image has a little bit of everything. You get the wonderful sunrise, you get the reflection of the sunrise in the water. You got several different types of waves in action going on. You have different types of water coming up to the shore. You got a wonderful shoreline on the left that gives me a leading line towards the reflections. Yet I can see a little bit of detail there. The balance of all these different elements is just nicely done here. I like the sharpness of the image. I like the fact that I can see all the different sharpness in the waves and the reflections in the water receding and coming back up. And then on top of all that, you got a lighthouse and a bit of light going on there and a sun ray even hitting that. And so there's just a whole bunch of stuff going on here. And I just think it's all a very, very effective shot. Nice job. Thank you.
Travel. Basic, 2 images.
Bill, can I read the title?
A colorful country about 13,000 feet in the Argentinian Andes.
Okay, so it tells us, okay, we're in a desolate area. It's in Argentina. So for travel, we know where we are now, and we're getting a good feeling for the place. Single road is the only habitation we see of any sort of human intervention here. But then you have these wonderful valley with the different types of coloring and different types of hills there. And then there's just stark blue sky that just gives me a whole nother feeling for what this place is like. And our goal in travel is to really give you a feeling of the place. And I think this image is effective in doing that. Thank you.
Balinese Hindus visit water temple for ritual purification with offerings and incense. Turta Engku Temple, Tumpak Sering, Gianyar, Bali,
Black
Indonesia.
and white. Fishermen
Okay.
that appear.
Yeah. Okay. So we got someone talking in the background here. Again, this is a fun shot. It's great in terms of it gives me a feeling of the environment in this temple, rituals going on, which is indigenous of the area, and of the people participating in that. So all those things are very good attributes for travel. One might argue that this could go in journalism as well, because it is depicting an event going on and you're documenting the event. But as a travel, I still think we get a feeling of this place, the people, the accoutrements around them, and how the people are interacting. And yeah, except for the one child there, I don't see a lot of faces, but I don't think it's important here. I still get a feeling of the people in the place, and that's part of travel. Thank you.
Travel intermediate, 3 images. Wilderness camp under the southern Milky Way near Huanib River, Namibia.
Okay, so this is a great shot. This is also a great pictorial shot as well. Does it give me a real good feeling of the area? I don't know. I go back and forth in that. Some ways I say yeah, and some ways I come back and say no. Well, look at the land versus the sky and the stars there. Yeah, but I don't see much of the land itself. So I sort of go back and forth on that. But it is a fun shot. An exquisite shot of the Milky Way, an exquisite shot in terms of the exposure of using the camp to give that lighting that you've done there. So all that's together. Do I get a lot of feeling for the environment as well? I don't know if I do as much, not as much as some, but to some extent. So, okay, thank you.
Tourists pose in front of the John Lennon Wall in the Czech Republic city of Prague.
Okay, so in this case, I sort of have some strong feelings. To my mind, this is not a travel shot. I mean, you got 2 people standing in front of a brightly covered wall. It happens to be in Czech Republic in Prague, but there's nothing definitive in the image. There's nothing to really tell me a lot about what the city is like, what the area is like, but rather I have a journalistic shot of two young ladies sitting in front of a very brightly colored wall. So to me, this is a much better journalism shot and less so a travel shot. And that's the difficulty with travel. You really have to ask the question, does this image portray a place or feeling of the place? And aside from the fact that you got a brightly colored wall there, which could be anywhere in the world, I don't know if this image is as strong in that way. Thank you.
Glacier National Park offers visitors spectacular views of glacier-carved peaks. Grinnell Peak, as seen from Mini Glacier Hotel, was carved on 3 sides, giving it its unique shape.
This is a magnificent shot. The sharpness of the geological features, both the background and the midground are just wonderful. The foreground with the trees, the water, and the reflections, I think is very effective. And you just found a time where the sky had enough detail in it and enough stuff in there to fill it up, but not to compete with the rest of the image. I think is very nicely done. I really get a good sense of this area here. And after seeing this image, I know what to expect, and I actually may spend the time and effort to try to get there myself. And if that's how you feel when you look at this image, then by definition, that's a good travel shot. Thank you.
Advanced, 3 images. The Waweep hoodoos create a surreal landscape of soft white Entrada sandstone columns topped by harder, dark Dakota sandstone of conglomerated pebbles. Grand Staircase, Escalante, New Mexico.
Yeah. Just a fun, good shot here. You're just really showing me this feature, this areas, and the uniqueness of it, both in terms of the flowing white rock formations, these areas that wherever there seems to be a rock there, it hasn't eroded below it, so they tend up giving these pinnacles. You got some good foreground, you got some good background, you got a person there. It gives me a feeling of sense of scale. So all these things really go a long way to give me a sense of how this place goes here. You know, I think your composition is good. I'm liking everything about it. You know, do you need, you know, I don't know if I would have changed anything. I can think of other ways of shooting this image, but I am enjoying the image you have given me. Thank you.
Monument Valley is a red sandstone desert region on the Arizona-Utah border. It is known for its towering sandstone buttes.
Hi, gorgeous image here. You know, wonderful landscape, nice foreground, nice midground, nice background. You give me a sense of the buttes. You give me a sense of the rock formations, of the colorations in the desert, and of the big sky. Now, in this image, over half the image is sky alone. And I wonder if you need quite as much sky, even in a travel image. You know, you're really showing me the land. And, you know, if you really wanted to focus on the big sky seen in this environment, I would have mentioned that a little bit in the title. But, and that way, that would have justified why you have as much sky as you do. But you didn't mention it there, so it's less important. So I wonder if you need quite as much. And by bringing down the cropping from the top there, I think you'll still bring home the feeling of this place, and you'll still be able to emphasize the buttes, the horizon lines, and the wonderful colorations throughout the desert. Nice job. Thank you.
At over 10,000 feet, the sliding sands trail descends 2,400 feet to the floor of the Halakakula crater, and it's often shrouded in mist and clouds. Maui, Hawaii.
Yeah. Okay. So here we're giving us the feeling for the whole area, the crater, the different land formations. You got some coloring going on, some different textures of the rocks there. You got some different the misting or things. The mist and clouds that come in the area, it's all there, and a person to provide a little bit of scale. I think all is very effective. I don't know if you quite need as much on the left as you have there. You could probably get rid of some of that and still not deter from your total vision of the image. But I am enjoying the relative detail that we're seeing, especially towards the middle there, where we see the formations of rocks further into the valley. All that's just done a nice job here. No, I wonder about cropping from the top, but if I lose a little bit of the cropping, then the sky loses some of that detail that fits appropriately to the clouds and mist that you want to portray in the image. Thank you.
Travel Masters, 8 images. The rugged and often otherworldly vistas of Southern Oregon coast draw photographers from around the world.
Nice job. Getting these type of mood shots and getting that mist there it's tough. It's not easy to do, and you did a nice job there. I'm really enjoying your foreground, your midground, and how it all blends away into mist in the background. I think that's very effective. Your photographer is perfect. If he wasn't there, it just would be a scenic shot. That he's there gives me a feeling, and in your title, you mentioned how it draws photographers, and that's a draw for this area. It's one of the attributes that make this worth traveling to. And you've actually given me the photographer there as well. So all these come together to really give me a good feeling of what the place is like and why I may want to visit there. Thank you.
The river runs through Little Venice, Sicily, Italy.
Yeah, there's a lot of real interesting things in this image. You got a wonderful rendition of the brickwork of the buildings, and then on the far upper right, you got buildings way in the background there. That works out nice. But the reflection of the building in the water gives me a different view of the roof. So pictorially, that works out very nicely. And the combination of this water, knowing that it's in Italy, its communication with the buildings around it, and the fact that there's sort of some bridge there on the upper right and stuff beyond that, all goes together to be fairly effective and give me a feeling of the place. So nice job. Thank you.
Dramatic skies and layered red cliffs bring visitors to Capitol Reef, Utah. In the fall, golden cottonwoods are everywhere. Here they run along the Sulphur Creek near the visitor center.
Great, great, nice. Your title is excellent here, and I think because it justifies why everything is there. The dramatic parts of the sky is part of the thing you want to show me, and you tell me that in the title. And it seems, in this case, it seems to complement and doesn't compete with the rest of the image. I get a real good feeling of this place and at this time, the low light. I love the light silhouette, the light behind the tree, and the light coming in low with that low diagonal, giving us the bright yellows there. And the fact that this golden foliage is part of the parcel of the image, part and parcel of the land, all goes together nice here. So you have a nice story, you got some good elements, and you emphasize in your title why these elements are important. Thank you.
As sunset's magical light sweeps across the iconic Palouse, a photographer on Steptoe Butte captures the colorful dune-like undulations of sunset-lit fields and cottonwood trees. Whitman County, Washington.
Okay, yeah, fun. Again, you know, wonderful sweeping landscape with all sorts of different undulations, shadowing, colors, textures, and then some scale of people in front. You know, I think that the white railing on the road actually fits in this case. It's a nice bounding element, but there's some interaction between that element and the people and the elements in it, i.e. the photographer. But then the different undulations in the land are just wonderful. You know, I played with my eye a little bit. Did I want to crop down from the top there? You know, do you need all that purple area up there in the land? And actually, I think the answer is yes. As I crop from the top there, I seem to lose a little bit of the story. So I just like what you have here. I don't think I would have changed everything. I think your composition is excellent, and it's just a wonderful shot to see. Thank you.
Ethiopian cafes serve cloudy, unfiltered honey wine called mais or tej in a distinctive shaped flask known as a barelli. Historically reserved for royalty, it is now the national drink.
Right. This is, you know, both as a travel and pictorially, this is just a great image. I love the different expressions. You know, not everybody's looking at the camera. You got different people, all in different poses, the way the light is hitting them is differently. Yeah, we get a feeling for the dress. We get a feeling for how unique this place is, and all these, the people and how they're dressed and what they're drinking and what they're wearing. I just think are all elements that bring forth the feeling of what this place is like. You know, pictorially, I think you've done a nice job of handling that really, really bright window, and yet still being able to show enough detail in all the different subjects. I think all that works very nicely. I just wish that the woman's hand wasn't necessarily covering the face, but that's a pictorial comment, not relevant necessarily to a travel presentation. Nice job. Thank you.
Participants wait in the rain for the start of the annual Matsu Festival parade in Taiwan. They will walk many miles from the Matsu Temple in the north to other Matsu temples in the south.
All right, so here, this image is, you know, a lot of fun stuff going on. You have all the people dressed up in their rain gear and their flags and the wide brim hats. So you get a feeling of the people in the sense there. You have some text in the background on the signage that gives you a feeling of there. So you get a sense a little bit that's in a foreign environment. This also might be a strong picture or journalism issue as it describes an event and people participating in an event as well. As a travel shot though, it has some interest there. It gives me a little bit of feeling of the place and time. So nice job. Thank you. Next.
Boy from a nearby gear camp pauses at an ovu and a traditional shrine for worship of the heavens and a place of reflection for passing travelers. Gobi Desert, Mongolia.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I'm glad you told us said it was the Gobi Desert, because this, you know, that explains the vastness of the landscape. And I think you really give me a good feeling for just this whole area where there's just vast areas where nothing's there, or there's, you know, just the roads or so. And then you have this little monument there. And not only that, but here's one of the inhabitants actually looking at it. I love the fact that you have the bike, him on the bike there in that environment as well. It adds a little bit of playfulness to the kids and gives me a little bit feeling that this is not just something for tourists to see. This is part of their life, and you're giving me a feeling with that. And I think all that is very effective. Thank you.
Tantallon Castle, built in the 1300s, is one of the over 2,000 castles in Scotland.
Okay, so here you did a nice job of capturing the castle in such a way that the light just happened to be right on it, and so you give us a good feeling of that, and the cliffs as well. Definitely, I love the cloudiness behind it. We get a good feeling of, you know, storminess you might have on Scotland's coast, and that's fine. But over half this image is just water and surf. And I don't know if that's really needed. I think you could crop up significantly from the bottom. I don't think you need all the water there in order to give me a feeling of how this may look as a travel shot. And I definitely find that the color of that surf, especially towards the back there, it just looks artificial. And that detracts my eye. I focus on that more than I should. And so that's distracting me away from the total look. So here, I would definitely crop from the bottom. I would definitely crop from the left here, because they got some cliff area there that's not adding anything. And maybe tone down a little bit of that color to get me a more realistic sense of what this place might really be like. Thank you.
Okay, we'll take a 5-minute break.
Are we up?
Here's the
Yep.
ring.
It's
Okay. Journalism Intermediate, 3 images.
There we go.
Oh, I gotta switch apps. One. Third place, Greg.
Here I am. Yeah, actually, I took all of these photos from my house. So this fire wasn't too far away from my house. And I was just amazed at how quickly CAL FIRE sprung into action after this fire started, which I think I saw it pretty close to when it actually flared up. And I did call 911 and they did respond quickly. So I thought it would make a good journalism sequence.
I think it's great.
Thank you.
Second place, Ellen.
Yes, well, this was that Women's March right after Trump took office. And it was such a fabulous day being there with, I've never seen so many people in downtown Santa Rosa in the rain. And I looked up and saw the windows and the reflection of the crowd in the windows. And I'm happy I took a picture.
Excuse me, Ellen, was that this year?
No. Oh my goodness, I messed up the title. No, 2017. Sorry.
But I'd point that out.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great image.
Yeah, I'd like to capture.
Congratulations. First place, Betsy.
Oh, thank you. Well, I just want to say that the other two in this category were, I really thought I'd get third place. I thought they were so good. So This was an event at Mulsberry's Market. It was a big anniversary. And I went down there without my camera and I saw Lynette Lyon with this alligator and I said, I'll be right back with my camera. And I ran home, came back, and I just thought this little boy was adorable. Thank you.
Congrats, nice.
Nice going, Betsy.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Journalism Advance, one image. First place, Jennifer.
Oh,
She's in Alaska.
Oh, it's a nice composition.
Not on the beach.
Wow.
Congratulations to Jennifer.
Great.
Journalism Masters, 3 images. Third place, Liz.
All right, this was a field trip with the Tuesday afternoon group to Sausalito, and it was an image-rich environment the whole day. So thank you.
Unique capture.
Definitely.
Congratulations. Second place, Bill.
Well, thank you. And right, Charlie, I forgot to put the date. This actually took place just 2 weeks ago. They've just put up this new stage and it makes it almost impossible for the winners to evade the champagne. They just come right up at point blank range. Okay. But the guys that have been there a few times know what to do. Thank you.
Run away.
Congratulations.
Good capture of the whole, all the things going on though.
And first place, Terry.
All right.
Very, very cool.
Great.
Is she here?
She was here, but I don't see her now. I
This
like
is,
that shot.
I like this a lot.
Nicely done.
No, congratulations, Terry.
Congratulations to Terry. Monochrome Basic, 3 images. Third place, Elizabeth.
Elizabeth.
Wow. Congratulations.
Nice image.
What a bridge.
Congratulations to Elizabeth. Second place, Fritz.
Now, this is another High Sierra picture, and the judge is absolutely right. I was just looking at all the clouds, and I should have named it something about the clouds rather than Buggs Creek, which is that valley. But it was a good view that day.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Very nice.
Beautiful.
Yeah, you get
Love
out
the
there.
sky.
You've been doing great, Fritz.
And first place, Mark.
All right, Mark.
Way to go.
Wow.
Beautiful image.
Storybook.
Nice composition. Nice feel. Congratulations.
Monochrome Intermediate, 4 images. Honorable mention, Ronnie.
Thank you. This was taken on our last field trip to the Battery. I can't remember which Battery it was. And down to Rodeo Beach or Rodeo. I can never remember which the pronunciation is. God, it was such a sad, it was just a sad image, but I felt like I needed to document it. And thank you for recognizing it.
Congratulations. Third place, Sherry.
Do you hear?
I love this image.
Yeah, I do too.
It's so
Yeah,
cool.
nice, Sherry. Beautiful, beautiful feel.
I love the bridge just disappears.
Mm-hmm.
Great getting the birds in there.
Yeah, perfect.
Congratulations. Second place.
Good job, Sherry.
Thank you. This was also taken in Glacier National Park. I have a question for Charles, if I may. I noticed that so many people in Monochrome in their title mentioned where it was. So I didn't, because to me Monochrome is like Pictorial, if I understand that correctly.
You're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. Yeah, I don't think this image was inhibited at all by not mentioning where it was. There's the criteria for Monochrome and the criteria for Pictorial in terms of storytelling, in terms of artistic representation are nearly identical. So you're absolutely right.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Yeah, there isn't a lot to say about this. This road went right along St. Mary Lake and started to go up. Yeah, and I saw this. Thank you very much.
Nice job.
Congratulations.
Beautiful.
Thanks, Steve.
Do you like your R6 camera?
Oh, mama. I love it.
Me too. Me too.
I'm waiting for my 1:500 lens, but it's so back ordered. It could be Christmas.
First place. Ellen.
Oh,
Beautiful. Thank you. This is an image that I looked it up. It was 2014 when I took it. It kind of kept going through my mind all the time as well. Could I show this? And in the salon, I got some feedback, and I took out a couple of half of the lily pads. Actually, it really is called water clover. But then I turned it to black and white from all the greens, and it really made it pop. It made the centers pop more, and so I'm happy with it now.
Good choice. Wow.
Nice.
yeah, just gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
What a good job.
Love that image.
Yeah, nice, Ellen.
Well deserved.
Thank you.
Yeah, this just stands out. So I think that if you feel like it just stands out, you've really done something right here. So good job.
Great. Thank you. Beautiful. Nice.
Congratulations. Monochrome Advanced. Honorable mention. Bob.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, this was taken in my front yard, and in the morning the grasses are backlit by the sun, and I was trying to get a good image of the repeating pattern and the detailed complexity. And I appreciate Charles's comments about where it worked and where it didn't work, and I think I'll crop and try it again.
Yeah, great.
Very nice.
Good. I think you got a lot of good stuff here, Bob. So I give it a try and see what you think.
Yeah, I will. Thank you.
Third place. Linda.
Yeah, thank you. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, this was taken in Waterton International Peace Park, which is the a sister park to Glacier National Park in Alberta, Canada. And I just really loved the aspens, and I think really neat suggestions on cropping. I think I'll definitely think about cropping this one. Thank you.
What are those patterns? What are those fan-like patterns?
That was topaz.
Oh,
Ah,
Yeah.
A
So
little bit
you
of topaz.
did use a filter on it of some
Yeah,
sort.
I did use a little filter on that, a little
That's what-
topaz. filter.
what I thought, but I
Yeah.
don't think it deters from it. But I just thought that's what I identified. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Help
Yeah.
simplify the image a little bit.
Beautiful.
Mhm.
SRPS has that effect on images like this a lot.
Yeah. Simplifying the using, was that simplifier used?
No. I forgot
Okay.
what it's called, but it's in the standard
Yeah.
part up there.
Okay.
I should have remembered. Sorry.
There are so
But the-
many.
I know.
Yeah. But by simplifying it to some extent, really brings this image forward because it simplifies the complexity. It makes it easier to see, and now your subjects stand out.
Mhm.
Yes, thank you.
Congratulations. Second place, Gary.
Nice.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, that was kind of fun. That was on the field trip. I left early and because I hadn't been down to that part of underneath the Golden Gate Bridge, and I really liked that. And it was interesting that one of the shots here earlier had the birds in it underneath the bridge. Well, that was taken from almost the same place, but with a longer lens. And I basically wanted to really make that stand out. And the original picture, everything was kind of flat and blended. So I took it to Topaz, and there's a way you can sharp a certain select area of your picture. And so I used the Topaz sharpen and carefully masked around the lighthouse. So it just sharpened that point. And then, I brought the back down a little bit. So, but I wanted to show a little bit more to show this massive structure that's kind of hanging over this seemingly small lighthouse. So hopefully I was accomplished that.
Yeah, good job, Gary.
Thank you.
It.
Yeah,
Nice,
very
Gary.
nice.
Yeah, Gary, you've been really hot lately.
Oh, thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
First place, Jennifer.
That's
Oh.
a beauty. That's a beauty.
Yeah, I love this.
Nice.
I wonder where she took that.
I don't know.
She
I
gets
know where
around.
it was.
Traveling and
Bodega Bay. I was right behind her.
Oh,
I can tell you where if you contact me.
Oh, okay.
Congratulations, Jennifer.
Nice.
Monochrome Masters, 4 images. Honorable mention, Timothy.
hey, Tim.
I love this image.
I'm here. You can hear me.
Yep.
Yep.
And this is my family good go down in South America. So it's what I've enjoyed taking because I can lighten up to having it an effective piece. Thank you, Charles.
Really beautiful.
Yeah, nice job.
Lovely.
Very nice.
Guy is perfect.
Another nice image, Tim.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Third place, Steve.
Oh.
All right. Cool.
You not here?
Not
Congratulations to Steve.
Isn't it amazing how powerful a simple image can be?
Oh, yeah.
It's all about the light.
Yeah.
Love it.
Second place, Mike.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh, that's
boy. That's great.
Great
it's
shot.
beautiful.
yeah.
Mike is the bird man.
Yep.
yes.
The bird man.
The
I
master.
love the
Petaluma.
light in the duck's eye. The side light makes it glow. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Must be Ellis Creek.
Probably so.
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
Good guess.
Good job, Mike.
The lighting is just gorgeous.
Yay, Mike.
Yep.
Congratulations to Mike. First place, Tamara.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
amazing.
Oh,
thank you. I just love this girl and her
Ah,
beautiful face and her big teeth, and she just smiled the whole time, and decided to go black and white just because, you know, this kind of beadwork and the tribal outfits are so colorful that it sort of detracts sometimes and it becomes about the color, and I wanted it to be about her face.
yeah.
I went black and white. So thank you very much.
Nice choice.
Beautiful.
Good choice there. I think you're absolutely right. In color, the bright color would compete with her face, and then choosing the black and white here, she just shines.
Yeah.
Fabulous
you.
image. Yeah.
And she did shine. I mean, her personality, well, not that I knew her, but her personality just really came out, stood out from the crowd.
Sweet.
Great.
Congratulations.
Well done.
Pictorial Basic, 4 images. Honorable mention, Elizabeth.
Oh, Elizabeth.
Yeah. Nice.
Cool.
Fun.
Yeah.
It's really unique.
Good description.
Congratulations to Elizabeth. 3rd place, Mark.
Beauty, Mark. Yep, another beauty.
Gorgeous.
Another nice insect picture. Good at it.
Yeah, he is.
Good work.
Congratulations to Mark.
Yeah, good job. Congrats.
2nd place, Mark again.
Oh, love
I know where that is.
I know exactly.
So do I.
The light there in the morning is, oh, so beautiful.
Where is it?
At Lake Ralph
Howard-
in Howard
yeah.
Park.
Howard Park Lake Ralphine. You're right.
Yeah. Love the colors.
Yeah.
Well, with the morning light especially. It made it.
Congratulations to Mark again. And 1st place, Fritz.
Well, this is, the judge is right. These were, the Milky Way was not taken on the same day as the full moon shots of these strange landforms in the Valle de la Luna. But it was taken a few days later, a little farther south in Argentina. So it was kind of a spooky place, but it was nice.
Fritz, is that area, I think you've put a few other images from maybe this trip of yours. Is that up out of Salta, like up in the Puna?
No, it's farther south. It's farther south in La Rioja.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, look up Ischigualasto if you can figure out how to spell it. It takes a while to remember, but look it up. It's an amazing spot, and we were able to get in there on a full moon night and for a little driving tour. And I know Pat and I got in trouble for setting up our tripods to take pictures of these things because everybody was in a big hurry, and we got some marshals kind of came and made sure that we were moving fast enough. But
Hey, if you don't get yelled at by the authorities, you aren't working hard enough.
Exactly.
So you didn't have to walk 35 miles for that one, huh?
No, not this one. Not this one. No.
It's awesome.
Congratulations.
Pretty cool.
Pictorial Intermediate, 4 images. Honorable mention, Pat.
Oh.
Well, thank you very much. I totally agree with the judge. I entered this late at night, and oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I didn't look at the sky and take care of it. It's kind of a stupid thing to have missed, but I'll clean it up. So thanks for pointing that out. Guess it kind of screamed at everybody, but it's a beautiful place, and I'll work on it.
Yeah, it happens to the best of us.
Beautiful. Gorgeous color.
Love the color. Yeah.
Oh.
Colors are wonderful.
Meow. Oh,
Didn't see.
And as an honorable mention, you can take the advice and submit it again.
Oh, good. Hooray.
Yeah, that's the advantage of not winning.
Thank you. Thank you. Definitely need to fix
Yeah,
that.
and then notice there's a big artifact. Right, if you look straight up from the peak and then over to the left a little bit.
Oh,
Yeah, just something else to work on as well.
Thank you very much. Yes, yes, I will try to get started on submissions a little sooner.
They're just UFOs.
Yeah, I've been there, done that.
Not midnight or, close to it. Thank you.
Congratulations. Third place, Ronnie.
Oh, thank you. You're absolutely right. Should have cropped it from the top. Tony and I discussed that. I felt that it would change the aspect ratio, and I thought it would look weird. And that's why I didn't do it. And yes, I agree, it is a little bit too dark. And I need a bigger set. So thank you very much for your suggestions.
Thank you. I love people. I love seeing people try still life because they really are a challenge. It's all about light and still life.
Yes.
And they're a real challenge. So nice job. Thank you.
Thank you.
You have an Alan Shapiro background, almost.
Yes, well, Alan was the one who suggested that I keep working at it. That
Yeah.
I need to do more still lifes.
Cool, cool. Well, he's the
we'll
guy.
look forward to them.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Second place, Sherry.
Nice job, Sherry.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
That's hard to do. I think.
Yep, it is.
Well, it's sunflower season, everybody. Go head out to Dixon.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's right.
Dixon. Where is Dixon?
Dixon is out 80, going toward Davis.
Okay.
Before Davis, I believe.
But not this weekend.
Yeah, too hot.
Too
Too
hot.
hot over there.
Too hot. And don't go on a weekend. There are too many people there.
Okay.
If you're ever in the southwest of France this time of year, they have field after field after field dense with sunflowers as far as the eye can see.
Sure.
Not Bordeaux.
Van Gogh discovered that.
yeah.
If you can't afford the airfare, you can go to North Dakota too.
But you have to be in North Dakota.
Oh,
I was thinking Dixon was kind of far to go, but
Iowa.
maybe it's the closest place.
I'm going to Dixon.
Dixon sounds a lot better than South Dakota.
Tony will disagree.
Yeah, there's some barns there here.
First place, Sherry again.
Wow. You're hot tonight, Jerry.
Hi.
Sorry she's not here.
Yeah.
Really neat.
Anyway.
Congratulations again. Pictorial Advanced, 4 images, honorable mention. Herb.
Yeah, that's ancient art. I climbed to the top of that thing to go up.
That's not your wife, is it, Herb?
Congratulations.
All 5'9".
Third place.
All 5'6".
I'm sorry. Were you done? I couldn't hear. Okay. Third place, Jennifer.
Wow, Jennifer.
Cleaning up tonight.
I'm
A little different for Jennifer.
Yeah.
Nice. Congratulations.
That's a really unique view.
Yes, it is.
I wonder if that's Pinnacle Gulch.
I think it was.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
saw her there, so I'm pretty sure that's where she.
Oh, okay.
Congratulations to Jennifer. Second place. Linda.
Oh,
Yay.
great.
Thank you. This was at a workshop at Point Reyes, and it was just before sunset.
Nice.
Yeah.
So pretty, Linda.
Yeah. Thank you.
Congratulations. It's beautiful. Mm.
Well done.
Was the workshop about doing longer exposures?
Yeah, that was part of it. Is a Gary Crabb.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and did long exposures and just shooting in different kinds of light.
But it wasn't intentional camera movement, correct?
No.
Okay.
No, this was shutter speed.
Tripod?
Nice.
Actually, this one was on my knees. No, I was sitting and it was balanced on my knees, but some of them, yeah, some of them.
Wow.
I love that it's so abstract.
It's like a watercolor painting.
Yeah. Can almost see the brush strokes.
Mm-hmm.
It
Exactly.
was fun.
I can look at this for a long
You just
time.
did
I really
workshop
like it.
Print it big.
Okay. Sorry. 4x6.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
First place. Steve.
Whoa.
Whoa, that's
Yeah.
Yay.
That's gorgeous.
I'm glad you
re-enter
submitted
this.
it.
Because
Done
I
it.
spent so many hours working on this thing. This one got edited and edited again and edited again. And I had a vision and it took me forever. I kept finding things wrong with it and put it into Topaz and took stuff out, added fog in and took it out, did all kinds of stuff to it. But I ended up with what I wanted. And then changing the name to me, because this is to me my meditation, going out kayaking early morning on the river and seeing the light first start to come in. It's so special being out there. And I saw that person come up there as I was kayaking that direction. And I thought, oh man, I've got to get this. So I'm sitting there kayaking in current, paddling forward, trying to get the shot with a long lens and getting too far away. And I did it over and over and over and over and over for like 20, 25 minutes. Finally this is actually a panorama of several shots stitched together as my kayak is drifting backwards. So I had a lot of errors. So anyway, I'm glad it worked out. I entered it once before and the judge loved it, but I got not even honorable mention on it. So I said, I'm just going to have to put it in again. So thank you anyway.
Nice going, Steve.
Thank you.
It's really fun to hear about people who work and work and work and get something and then it comes out so nice. Gives me confidence that we all can do that. Nice job.
He is the hardest working man in photography.
Congratulations.
Thanks, Steve.
Pictorial Masters. 4 images, honorable mention. Nancy. Tomorrow. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, this was just my goofy thing to enter because I just love this zebra's teeth and yelling in his horrible mouth, and I had to do something with it, so I thought I would throw it in. And then for some reason, I can't even remember what movie it's from, some Marlon Brando movie where he's yelling, Stella!
Our name Desire.
Oh yeah, Streetcar
So
Named
thank you, Streetcar Named Desire.
Cute.
Thank you. I don't know why. It made me laugh, so I was happy. So thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Congratulations.
Hilarious.
3rd place. Mike.
Oh,
Yeah. Grandson.
grandson.
Definitely grandson.
Beautiful.
Such
Love
a
Point
the
of view, getting down that low.
And grandchildren.
piece of Americana, I swear. It's very cool.
Yeah.
He said getting down was easy.
It was a getting up, huh?
Yeah.
down is hard.
That's very funny.
I feel that.
Congratulations to Mike.
Yeah.
Second place.
Job again, Mike. Boy.
Second place. Tim.
Tim.
Oh,
Nice.
yay.
Colorful.
Nice, Tim.
This is work at the Whitney Museum, American Art, and it's Mary Humans. Monochromic years. It was a new Whitney when it opened in 2015. You can shoot from the 3rd floor, 4th floor, and 5th floor to get different perspectives on this. So, and it was just, I spent probably an hour to 2 hours just shooting various combinations of people interacting with the chairs. Some were sitting, some were reading, some were conversing with each other. This was what struck me as probably the most dynamic. Thank you.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
Well done.
Great job.
Nice job.
Great job, Tim. Really love this.
Tim.
Congratulations. First place. Tony.
Yeah.
Nice, Tony.
Beautiful, Tony.
This in
Thank
North
you.
Dakota?
This, no, it isn't North Dakota. This image almost didn't happen because I was in a area where I had to walk 1.5 miles to get to this part in the beach. And it was probably about 38 degrees.
Oh my God.
And honest to God, I could barely hold the camera. So I had to shoot quickly without a tripod because I wasn't going to be able to do any more than 2 or 3.
Wow.
Oh.
November.
Lighthouse is so teeny. Like there's a teeny little lighthouse. It really shows
Nice
you how
job.
big it is.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Just beautiful.
Thank you.
Great.
Congratulations, Tony.
Travel Basic, 2 images. Second place. Chris.
Well, it's a desolate place out there in Argentina. Same trip down there. There's not much going on, and there's not a lot of oxygen. So.
Oh. Yeah.
I'm intrigued by the little trails that go along that valley below the road. What kind of animals would make those there?
Okay, that's a little memory test for me. I think they're called guanacos. They're kind of like llamas, but smaller, I think.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
And the kind of the yellow stuff down there is this bunch grass that is that actually has a name that I don't remember, but it's endemic in the Andes, and it's spectacular close up.
Oh, nice. I like the meandering little road down there at the bottom of the valley too. It kind of leads you out around it.
Yeah.
Interesting place. Nice job.
Good job, Fritz.
Thank you.
Congratulations. First place. Elizabeth.
Oh, nice.
Oh, Elizabeth.
Pretty bad night to miss.
Nice.
Well done.
Congratulations, Elizabeth.
Bali, Indonesia.
Video was watched 10 plus spots. That was like number 1.
Wow. This is,
Oh, yeah.
oh, wow.
It's like a hot spring.
Beautiful.
Congratulations to Elizabeth.
Awesome.
Travel Intermediate, second place. Pat.
Oh, what a great.
Thank you very much.
I see this on the cover of the New York Times travel section.
This is where we were going to find the desert elephants. This is one of the camping spots where we went out looking for the desert elephants. It's pretty remote and it's beautiful, really. And lots of wildlife. So good thing we weren't snatched by a creature while we were taking these pictures.
It would have to be a 2-page spread.
Yeah, they do that. They do
Yeah.
that.
Beautiful.
Thanks.
Nicely done, Pat. I love it.
Thank you.
Congratulations. First place. Betsy.
Oh,
Nice.
Thank you. Thank you again, Glacier National Park. This photograph was too easy. But on the other hand, I thought that, Charles, you might think that it was too postcardy. There aren't any people in boats on the lake and, you know, that kind of thing. But I just want to say I took this from the deck of Many Glacier Hotel, where you can sit with your breakfast, your lunch, your dinner, or any time. Yeah, and it doesn't get old.
Road trip.
Beautiful.
I think you very effectively give me a feeling of the place. And, you know, so you know, whether it's postcardy or not, I think is irrelevant. It's, you do get a feeling of the place in that. And I think you just did a wonderful job.
yeah.
You. Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Going up to that point.
Travel Advanced, 3 images. Third place. Herb.
Oh, well done.
Or
Really interesting.
Congratulations.
Cool. Love the clouds in this.
Congratulations to Herb. Second place. Herb again.
Oh,
No kidding.
great. I'm going to New Mexico soon.
Wow.
Yeah.
Those are cool. I'd like to go there.
Great.
Otherworldly.
Spectacular. Good job, Herds.
I love the colors.
Amazing.
What an amazing.
Holy smoke.
Congratulations to Herb again. First
Wow,
place.
that's really something. Yeah.
Linda.
Oh my goodness. This is the most beautiful place I have ever been. A place to just sit and meditate. Oh, I would go back every year if I could afford it. You know. At least it's close. And the sky was just stunning. And I think, you know, maybe cutting down the sky, I'd like to try some different renditions of this that you mentioned, Charles. And thank you for all your hints from, I think, from all of us. It was
good comments.
Wonderful.
Yep.
Evening.
Great comments.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. No, I think it's a fun thing to try different things. And like I said, cropping is the easiest and the hardest thing to do. It's easy to do, but we very rarely do it as much as we should.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did you need a guide for that where you took this picture?
No, do you need a Native American to take you on that land?
We did.
There are certain places that, well, when we went there, that, you know, to go down into near the monuments, you needed a guide. So I went with somebody that took me out to some places. And I was just curious if you were near the road or if you had someone take you out.
No, we went out with, there were only 4 of us, went out with a Native American guide.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. The guide. Yeah,
Really
the Native American guide. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Oh,
my
cool.
brother forgot his camera.
Oh.
Linda, I could look at this for hours.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Love the sandstone formation.
Yeah,
Sandstone.
the colors.
Out to the right to the
They're stunning.
larger formations out there. It's so wonderful.
Meet you right out there.
Yep.
Yeah, sure.
Wonderful place.
Mm-hmm.
Very thoughtful.
Congratulations, Linda.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Congratulations indeed.
Yes.
Travel Masters, 5 images. Honorable mention. Anne.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, we spent several days in this little town, and it's just a gorgeous little town. Hardly any tourists, and we were lucky enough to have a place to stay there. And so we wandered all over, and there's this river that goes right through the little village, and all these little bridges and stuff. It's just a very beautiful spot to visit, and way out of the beaten path if you go to Italy. So.
Oh, really nice.
I like the reflection too.
Yeah.
And the water running out of the corner.
Yeah,
is really cool.
Beautifully cropped.
Mhm.
Very nice.
So thank you, Charles. Really enjoyed tonight.
You're very welcome.
Congratulations. Honorable mention also, Terry.
Stunning,
Done.
stunning color.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I love this.
This does look like a postcard though. And so beautiful.
Yeah, I'd buy it.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
It was pretty in late October down there where that was cottonwoods, isn't it? Just love them.
But
Stunning.
look at the low angle of the light, though.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right. Mhm.
Congratulations to Terry. Third place,
Good job, Terry.
Mara.
I love this.
Thank you. Yeah, the light was so weird in this room that it kind of looked fakey, but it really was kind of a weird light. I turned down the saturation actually and tried to tone it all down.
It looks like
Um,
Edward Hopper to me.
It does kind of look like Ethiopian hopper. I would agree with you.
Debbie
But
wants
just
to clean the
those
house.
drinks, and people will hand you those little vials because there aren't many tourists there, and you're showing interest in that drink. And I don't know, people would hand them to you, and I really don't like drinking out of other people's vials because most people drink right out of the vial. But I did take a sip out of somebody's in that little cafe. But it's just beautiful with the light coming through. And as I always say, Ethiopia, everyone needs to go if the war calms down. But I did not like having to crop off on the left because it was just blown out on the side, but I decided to risk it anyway.
Sort of has an
thank you.
art noir feel to it. Nice job.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
Yeah, people are very interesting in this. I keep staring at them and just trying to think
Yeah.
what they're thinking or what they're doing or.
Yeah, I was thinking exactly the same thing. This image, I keep looking at it and getting more interested.
Yeah, the clothing and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the different gestures, the way they're looking, the way the light falls on them. This is a lot to this.
Yeah.
Nice.
I actually liked that the woman had her hand on her face because she
Yeah.
just looked kind of. I'm so over all the men who are sitting here drinking. You notice she has nothing. On her
Yeah,
face.
it's like.
I just thought she was her own little vignette. I almost tried to crop her alone, but
Yeah, it's sort of like, when we got to go home.
I know she doesn't have a beverage.
Yeah.
It wasn't posed, it was natural.
Drink more.
Yeah.
I
How-
like the hand up too, Tamara. I like the lighting on the fingers. My eye goes there a lot. So I like the hand.
Mhm.
thank you.
And
like-
she
And then her
also-
weird green skirt.
she's stopping it's the end of the picture. It's like,
Oh,
Huh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right.
even a nice
Thank you.
reflection on the table.
Congratulations. Second place, Mike.
Beautiful.
Mike. Another one.
That's
Was that you, Tony, out there?
Yeah. Tony leave.
He's a professional photography model.
Yeah. Perfect with that red shirt.
Yeah, exactly.
Good pictures.
Any other color would be,
Yeah.
not
Lost.
Congratulations to Mike.
Let's say yes.
Nancy.
oh,
Oh,
fancy.
perfect. It lost last time.
Oh, yeah.
And Charlie, yes, I had cut off that top part and it didn't tell the same story. I had cropped in from the side and it didn't tell the same story because the whole thing that I wanted to express was there was this amazing scene as the light just swept across and changed the colors. And I also noticed what direction his lens, his big lens was. And I go, oh yeah, there, right at those trees with that dune-like in front. I know exactly I would be shooting. In fact, I did shoot that exact part, but it kind of needed that whole thing is like, so my story without saying it was that there's this whole magnificent thing that we've all wanted to go to and shoot. And that's the piece, that's the slice he was going in for with his long lens. And that's my story and I'm sticking to it.
It's a good one. It's a good story.
And I think you're very effective. This image is very effective in showing that.
Was that in the fall, Nancy?
No, fall is really interesting. I mean, some of my favorite ones are when the colors are straw and golden.
Yeah.
Now, this is actually a month before this same site would just be lined up with photographers, especially at sunset. This is in May.
Yeah, I see the date, and I'm sorry I missed that, but the orange, what threw me off was the orange colors,
Well, a lot of that was that sunset. I mean, it changed, like you could see on the road in the grasses at his feet.
Yeah.
It just turned red, fire red, golden, and it just changed everything. And it's one of those where you catch it, that you get that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm glad it's gotten some love.
Gorgeous.
It deserves love.
Congratulations, Nancy. And rest of your time, Steve.
Yay! Well, all your work paid off.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah.
good. That's
Congratulations.
two shows. So that makes me happy.
James
Thank you.
Brown, the hardest
Thank you
working
so
man in photography.
Yes. Steve, there were a lot of good images tonight, but this one was just exceptional and it just kept resonating to me. So congratulations. Nice job.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it didn't win last time. I saw that. I'm going, where was that one with the red person on the rocks there? It was really cool. But I'm glad you made it
I
tonight.
got several consolations after I got nothing on that. People were like, wait a minute, I thought you were going to win with that one. I got nothing. It's like, what?
Yeah.
So this helped.
Like I said, we don't always agree with the judges.
Nope.
Oh, we did a great job. Thank you.
Obvious failure.
We agreed with you, Charlie, quite a bit. Thank you.
Absolutely.
And thank you again for your helpful comments.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, thank you, Charlie.
Another question.
Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it. The primary thing is I want you to walk away from the evening feeling like it was worth it. And if you do that, then I've done my job.
Totally.
Totally.
Excellent.
Can I ask you a question, Charlie, which
Sure.
I already asked you, but I wanted you to elaborate. So when you're thinking about cropping and you change the aspect ratio and all of a sudden now you're looking at a panorama and it's not a subject that would normally be a panorama, or you used another term for it and I can't remember what term you used for a long, narrow, a shot.
Slim Jim.
Slim Jim is another term that I've heard.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
No, that's an interesting. You got an interesting challenge there. I see what you're saying. If you crop that down too much, it becomes too long.
Yeah.
And perhaps you get rid of some of the elements.
Yeah.
There, I mean, you're gonna have to give up something if you want to keep the same aspect ratio, but get rid of the top, or you live with a different aspect ratio, or you try again.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
it is a still life. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not like I was shooting it in the wild. I mean, I
No,
can't
no, no,
do
no.
it.
I know, but you know, by the time you set up and get all there, it's
Yeah.
not you can't easily replace these things because there's a
Actually,
lot of work.
This is my second
Yeah.
attempt.
No,
I did redo it.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. You know, I personally, you know, some people say, well, do you always crop your images to set dimensions? And I never do that because to me, it's my vision. The story I'm telling drives everything.
Yeah.
And you know that dictates what you crop out and what you don't. And you know, but if you end up cropping everything and your story's there, but it's just not quite right, then maybe you punt and try again.
Right. Right.
I've done that a lot, and I'm continuing working with that. As we get better and more experienced, you begin to see this a little bit earlier in the process, and maybe you begin to see it when you're behind the viewfinder instead of behind the computer.
Yeah.
But that's just practice and experience, and you know that's part of the things that makes the art an art.
Thank you. Thank you.
Nice job. No, it's a nice job.
Thank you.
Great evening, everyone. Thank you, Charles.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank
You're very
you.
welcome.
Nice to see you all.
Thanks,
Right.
Steve and Bill, too.
Good night.
Good, Charlie. Thank you.
Yep.